All of us have a special calling in life. The Lord calls us for different services and different vocations. And therefore it is important for us to learn how to discern the Lord's calling in our life. Not all vocation calls from the Lord are dramatic. Most call comes to us when we are doing our ordinary routine and duties. If we want to find a vocation in life, we must first begin by being a disciple. No one can be a leader without first humbling himself to be a true disciple. It is in discipleship that we learn, that we grow, and that we groom ourselves to be the leader. To be a true disciple, we need to discern whether that is what the Lord is calling us to do. This discernment process is very necessary if we want to give ourselves entirely to the mission that the Lord has entrusted to us. Unless it is really the Lord's call, we can never be fruitful in whatever we do. And even if we are successful, we will not find true happiness. There's some people, they join an organization without understanding the values, the mission, the vision of the organization. I think one good thing that has developed in the area of employment today is that instead of offering someone permanent employment, we should always begin with a contract of service or a contract for service. I think this is a very useful way for both parties to discern whether the person who is really working for organization is truly motivated, passionate, and takes it as a vocation, as a calling in his or her life. And very often it is in the process of working that we come to understand whether this is something that I really believed in doing. Happiness in our work is more than just monetary remuneration. It is passion, it is meaning. If you are undertaking a job, simply a job that you have to fulfill, life is going to be miserable for you. And for those who employ you as well, because you're not going to give your best. Because you don't believe in what you're doing. That is why in this mutual arrangement, which I feel is really important, it helps both the organization and also the person who is recruited to exit gracefully. And a very important time during this period to really discern, am I really called for this vocation in life? Vocation discernment is so important. It's not just getting into any job, because you spend more than half your life in the office. Practically. More time in the office than you are actually at home. This discernment of our vocation will also be seen in the signs that we have. How do you know that you are called? When you are fruitful, when you find joy in what you are doing, when you are passionate in what you are doing, when it's no more a job, but it's really a vocation, something that you believe in what you are doing, and you have people to affirm you in that vocation you are in, and you have produced the signs and the fruits, and people have been touched by you, and people have been changed and transformed by you. You know it's your vocation when you have become a life giver. When you are empowering lives, when you're enriching lives, that is your vocation. When you are contributing to the good of others, to society, to the organization, and you find great joy. Of course, it does not mean to say, therefore, there is no suffering. In fact, there will be tremendous suffering, but there is great joy because it is a vocation. Because we believe there is a meaning. It's a joyful sacrifice. When it's a burden sacrifice, there is no love, there is no meaning. You will get weary. It becomes a drudgery. You are punishing yourself. Not just the organization that suffers, you, the first to suffer. In the discernment of vocation, we need to be decisive. We need to be firm. Yes or no? That is what the Lord demands of us. It's important because without singularity of purpose, we can never be successful. We can never be fruitful. Then we will have a divided heart. That is why there are some people, they just roam around. They do not know. They drift from one job to another, one vocation to another, one congregation to another. Wherever they go, they're going to have problems. Because they can't fit in. Or rather, they have not found the organization that they are meant to be. That's why a lot of unhappiness for the person and happiness, of course, for all his colleagues as well. It creates problems. That's why if you have no joy when you are working and you are a problem, then you must really ask, are you a prophet that is giving problems, or are you a problem to yourself and to others? Integrity is very important. If you are faithful to your heart's calling, you are faithful to what the Lord is calling you, what is deepest in your heart, I can guarantee you, you will always find peace and joy, even in suffering, because that is your vocation in life. And you will always be fruitful in whatever you do. If you have clarity of mind and purpose, you will continue, even when we face challenges in life.